Live from Loudmouth Central, you're listening to Loudmouth Fisticuffs. Hosted by combat sports analyst Joshua Furs and international ring announcer Mr. Live Worldwide Jeff Houston. Half sports show, half comedy show, and half conspiracy show. 100% in your face. So open your ears, shut your mouth, and have a good fucking time.
Boom, that's it, guys. We are live. Episode 38, Loudmouth Fisticuffs. We're in your face. We're in your homes. We're in your lives. We're in your minds. We're in your eyes. You see how that rhymed? We're in your beds. Wherever you're watching us, we appreciate you. I am Joshua Furs. My man right over there, Mr. Live Worldwide, Jeff Houston. Jeff, what is up, my friend?
Fuck being in people's beds. I want to be under people's beds, man. I mean, as warm as it is in the company of somebody else's bed, I'd rather be the boogeyman. I'd rather be the hand that reaches out to grab the ankle after somebody gets out of bed to go get a glass of water or take a piss. That's where I want to be. I want to be the one that pulls you under the bed and makes you realize there are things out there in the dark, things that go bump in the night. And the fact that the things go bump in the night in the bed is the best part about it. Yeah.
You must have been watching like Ghostbusters or something recently, right?
Hey, something strange in the neighborhood. Who are you going to call?
Who are you going to call? Man, I tell you what, a lot of crazy shit going on in the world today. There's a lot to talk about. Of course, we're inching closer to Knucklemania. All the bullshit that happened last week on Capitol Hill. Fuck, man. We could literally start anywhere, like Pat Militich getting let go or something. I know that he's definitely not back on the first show.
He is no longer on the commentary team with LFA, unfortunately. And all it takes these days is just your presence being there. He was not on the violent side of that ordeal, but just being there these days is enough. And it sucks, but there are times that you have to know when to pick your battles. And I don't believe that was a time that benefited anybody. I can't even imagine how many people who probably posted pics of them at Capitol Hill that got let go from their jobs, that got, are no longer friends with certain people. There may have been people, boyfriends and girlfriends that have broken up with each other just because that they were involved with that. All you need to do is just be there, and it's enough for the hangman to put the rope around your neck. And it sucks, man, because I absolutely believe that Pat Militich did not deserve that. I mean, did he put himself in a position to where that could possibly happen? Yes, unfortunately he did, because it turned violent, and that never looks good on anybody who's involved, whether they're, like I said, on the peaceful side of things or the violent side of things. Unfortunately, it doesn't work well with anybody. So I just knew, like I said, me, I'm not much of a political person. I have no political agenda, no political affiliation. I know when to keep my distance. And that was just bad things waiting to happen. And the problem with it is that I have with this, Josh, is that these people thought that they were doing right going out there to defend President Trump, when in fact they were just proving why he should no longer be in the White House. They weren't helping him at all. That did not help him at all. As a matter of fact, that led to, as you know, the historic second impeachment that recently took place. He's now the first ever president to ever be impeached twice within his term. No president has ever been impeached twice. Doesn't matter whether they had 1 term, 2 terms, 3 terms, or if we're talking about the Roosevelts, up to 4 terms. That's never happened before where they've actually, but now it passed through the House. So it's probably not going to pass through the Senate, which I believe was the same situation that happened the first time out with the first impeachment and such. So It's interesting. It's just interesting to see that they would go after this just days before he's out of a job. My opinion, the best thing to do, Let the man finish out his term. And then if you want to file charges, if you want to file lawsuits, if you want to, go after him through the courts once he's out of office, then fine. But let the man finish. Okay. Whether or not he fucked up, whether or not he did bad things, horrible things, or not, let the man finish. Just let the man finish. Especially, how stupid is it to go after an impeachment when we're talking days away? It just doesn't make any sense. What's going on, Mr. Red Rims? Always tuning in to our episodes here at Loudmouth Fisticuffs, episode number 38.
My man, Mr. Brian Maxwell.
Man, we appreciate your loyalty, man. We appreciate you being usually the first to chime in on Loudmouth Fisticuffs and all the nonsense that we fucking talk about.
Yes, sir. Mr. Red Rims is a good dude, man. I like Mr. Red Rims. Man, I tell you what, and I don't know how political I want to get. So like I try to come at things from a just maybe from like a general perspective, right? Because I've never been the kind of person I've never considered myself like super Republican. I've never considered myself super Democrat. I always try to, pick the policies over the party, meaning like it's the person. I don't really give a shit at the end of the day. If someone's Democrat, if somebody's Republican, if they're making good decisions and the best for the country, in turn the best for me and my family, then that's who I'm going to go with. There was a lot of what I agreed with Trump. There was a lot of what I didn't agree with, and I think that's okay to say that. I think it's okay. It's so faux pas to say, if you agree with anything, you're a racist. Or if you don't agree with nothing, it's like, you don't want to get looked at as like, oh no, you don't want to, don't say you agree with Trump on anything, otherwise you're going to be ousted. Like, the whole fucking thing is stupid across the board.
If anybody says that, I mean, who makes this person, whoever's saying that, the on anything? Yeah. Usually it's always in a situation where it's always the other person that says, if you say this against this person, or if you say that for that person. It's almost like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. I'm like, who the fuck are you to even judge anybody? And I can't stand these people who say that, I can't be affiliated with you, I can't be associated with you if you vote for this person or if you support this person. If you're a Trump supporter, then I don't want anything to do with you. What a horrible thing to say. You have no idea about that person. I mean, that's just a person's political view. Their political view could be completely different of everything else that makes them the person that they are. But apparently these days, all it takes is just for you to be on one side of the fence, left or right, and that defines you as a person.
What do they call identity politics, right? Like
that's exactly what it is. That's a very good way, dude. I'm going to tell you something, Josh. That probably is one of the best terms that you've given on this show in 38 shows. Identity politics. That's exactly that's very good. I like that. It's identity politics. And everybody thinks that is what makes a person these days. And that's it's just, something, you are entitled to your opinion. And the last thing that I'm going to do is call you stupid. I'm not even going to call the people who were part of the Capitol Hill situation stupid, but they put themselves in a situation to where violence was, they put themselves in a bad situation. Was it probably the best decision? Absolutely not. But I'm not going to call them fucking stupid, because the issue that I have with it is that they're going against the Constitution of the United States. And the Constitution says that there's no problem with anybody there's nothing wrong with peaceful assembly. There's nothing wrong with peaceful assembly. But then again, of course, there's always the extremists that say, well, we tried that. It didn't work, so we had to take it this way. And I'm here to say, for all of the extremists out there that think that taking violence into their own hands, if you think that you're doing that for the candidate, if you're thinking you're doing that for whomever that you have your faith in,
it's irrational.
You don't. You're doing that for yourselves. Don't say that you're doing that for the candidate. Don't say that you're doing it for America, because you're not. You're doing it for your own selfish fucking reasons. You're doing it so that you can get on TV. You're doing it so that you can get attention, finally paid attention. Because you got to figure, some of these people, they don't have any situations in their lives to where a lot of attention is paid to them. So therefore, this is a way for them to get on TV and finally get the cameras on them, get the attention on them, maybe go, viral or some shit like that, maybe go on Oprah. But it's not going to do the candidate any good, because all they did was just slow up the sessions at Congress. They just slowed it up. It went right back to business as usual, and they did absolutely nothing to prevent Trump from leaving office. Not a thing. They didn't do anything. In fact, they actually made it worse. And they actually said, you know something? With this kind of violence that's inciting right now, probably not a good idea to look into this voter situation, because this is so much worse than a little voter fraud.
And I think another thing too, and I posted about this, is that it's insane to me, because look, how many people were in DC last Wednesday? I know that 100,000, 200,000. I don't know. I don't know the exact number, but let's just even say on the low end, let's say 100,000 people. How many people did what's up, Matt? How many people did the writing stuff? Like 200, 300 or something like that? Like, it couldn't have been more than that. I don't even think it was.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the way that the media and the way that people look at it. All you have to do is be there. You don't have to be the hand that's carrying the burning torch.
But
you don't have to be the hand that's carrying the pitchfork.
My point is, I think it's a bad move to wrap everybody under one president, right? Like, I don't think it's any different than saying, back over the summer, right? Like when there was all the movements and the riots and stuff, where there was, burning shit down, looting stores. Like, I wouldn't dare say, okay, since a handful of people ransacked this Target, that means the entire movement is basically considered ransacking this Target. Like, I wouldn't group the entire fucking movement.
Everybody does that. Everybody does that. Anytime that an extremist group of anybody does anything, the entire race of people are, grouped within that. Look what happened during 9/11. Look what happened during. I'm going to tell you. Yes, I do. Okay. Yes, I do. He's obviously not a political fan. That's probably why. He's probably not. So let's go ahead and let's squash that right now and talk about something a little bit more uplifting. I mean, even though that I'm very sorry for our good buddy Pat Miletich, but I'm going to tell you something, man. He is a tough guy. He will land on his feet, and he is going to lend his expertise and his years and years of awesome work to another microphone sometime soon. Pat, we're behind you, 100%. We're sorry that happened. We love you on LFA, but you know something? You're going to make your presence known somewhere, brother. Of
course he will.
You did it once. You'll do it again.
Of course he will. Of course. Anybody would be, lucky to have his services, I think.
You just got to let this bullshit pass. It's once the bullshit passes and then they realize that the guy was just there for his own reasons, not for violent ones, then that'll pass over, and then they'll see what he's an asset. I mean, the guy is a legend. He's a Hall of Famer. I mean, he's done so much for the sport, and he's not only in the cage, but outside the cage. He's just been so synonymous on the commentary table, and it's just such a shame to see him down like this. But like I said, he's a fighter. He will fight his way back to another commentary table, and he will do that microphone and that headset justice.
100%, man. No, 100%. You're right about that. But I guess, like you said, let's move on to bigger and better things.
Much better.
Of course, we talked about it last week. Knucklemania. We finally have the card. We've got the full card on tap. I tell you what, man. Of course, I say it every fucking time, but I can't help it. I'm pumped. I'm fucking pumped for this card. Obviously, there's the obvious, Page and Britain, and of course Lieben and Quentin Henry.
Oh, Lieben and Quentin Henry. That is going to be fun. And I have been paying attention to Chris's training progress. Yes. And he is looking good, man. He might actually be in one of, maybe not but one of the best shapes of his life coming up to this one, because he also knows that Quentin is going to be training like a fucking monster.
I think so. Then we have the return of the animal, Travis Thompson. He's fighting
so excited.
Dave Morgan. That's going to be good.
135 pounds. I know that he eventually is going to be throwing his name into the hat for the 135-pound championship. But that, of course, is going to be our co-main event with Johnny Bedford defending the 135-pound world championship against Dat Nguyen. A lot of people are happy about this fight. A lot of people are not so happy about it because a lot of people still feel, I guess, that Dat and Reggie should have ran that fight over to justify the number one contendership. You know something, guys? We don't make the fights, okay? If you're not the matchmaker and you're not the promoter, then you have to understand that they're doing what they do for a reason. Yeah. So I'm just happy that regardless of whether Dat gets the opportunity or Reggie gets the opportunity, I'm happy for them, but I'm super happy that we finally get to see Johnny Bedford back in the squared circle. It's been a long time. Injuries, unfortunately, stopped him from making comeback a little sooner. So now, February 5th, 2021, he finally gets the opportunity to defend the 135-pound world championship, and I'm just so excited.
Yeah, and I talked to Johnny about this the other day. I think he was talking about how the business side of it, maybe that is the bigger fight for him, just from a sheer the fan point of view.
Well, it's the bigger draw in that area.
That has a big right.
He is the bigger draw. He's a Florida guy, so therefore he is definitely the bigger draw in that area.
I think I didn't agree with it at first, in the sense of because I thought Reggie was ready. He came down to Miami. I thought that he should have been. There you go. I like my WBA jacket, man. Just to give a quick shout out. Sorry to interrupt you, but this is the. No, you're right. I'm not. You're right. I'm not. I'm not going to apologize. So, hey, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to my guys over at Pueblo Boxing. They hooked me up with this awesome WBA Centennial bomber jacket. And this is it's a reversible jacket. It actually has another side to it, but I like this side because, as you can see, it's got all of the WBA's brightest and greatest champions ever. So definitely big shout out to Pueblo Boxing. Go check out their website, soloboxing.com, and check out the merch that they got. They've always got fresh merch. As you can see, this is quite a nice item. I like wearing it around. I'm not going to be wearing it around bare knuckle because it kind of go against the constitution of, bare knuckle. But as of right now, I'm feeling pretty good wearing it. Considering it's pretty cold around here. South Texas does get cold every now and then. Right now we're about 38, 39 degrees. I know that ain't shit compared to other places, but it's still a little chilly around here. So thought I'd bust it out. But oh my God, what's up, Howie? No, but like I was saying, man, I hope I thought they did Reggie wrong, but it is what it is. I think they'll take care of it.
No, I don't think that they did Reggie wrong. I don't think they did Reggie wrong. I think that it was
down to Miami, and I think Reggie making himself ready on short notice, and then that pulling out. It just I'm not saying on purpose. Like, I'm not saying maliciously. I just mean from a it just kind of left Reggie out in the cold a little bit. I'm not saying BKFC did anything intentional.
It left them both out on the. It left them both just out of Facebook jail. Howie, you gotta watch your fucking mouth, man. I'm gonna tell you. Howie. You gotta watch. You gotta watch it.
I know some crazy shit, Howie.
You are. I'm gonna tell you something, man.
I hope, because Johnny says his next move is 145 after he defends against that. Which where does
I think it's a bad mistake. I think it's a mistake.
That's what he wants to do.
I can appreciate that because it's probably not as drastic a fucking weight cut, because 135 pounds, Johnny's the same height as me. I'm 5'11", and he's really, hey, what's going on, Zion? Thank you for joining us here at Loudmouth Fisticuffs. At 5'11" and making 135, man, that's lanky. That is some lanky stuff right there. So I certainly understand that. However, I don't believe that Johnny has enough title defenses as of yet. I think that he should solidify the 135-pound division with his title reign, and then it's probably a little bit easier to jump to 145 pounds. But if he's doing that for health reasons more than personal ambition of going up a division or a weight class, then that's one thing.
What's up, Kyle?
What's up, Kyle? I don't agree with him jumping as of yet, because isn't this his first title defense?
It is his first title defense. I think. Now I don't want to misquote Johnny, but I believe the point that he was making and moving up to 145 is kind of like, there's Reggie, there's Dat. Those are arguably the top. Other than him, they're the top two guys. At 135, and then you've got. There's Travis Thompson. There's Abby Velasquez.
Oh yeah, the 145. You're probably going to have. I know that he's wanting to go to the weights where there's a little bit more competition.
I think there's bigger names too. There's going to be bigger names at 145 because you're going to have the possibility of Artem. You have Jim Allers talking about coming down to 45, right?
I still think that he should. I think honestly, Johnny. Last thing I'm going to do is tell anybody what the fuck to do. But if I had an opinion on it, which I don't, but I'm still going to give it, whether, people want to hear it or not. I think the best thing to do, if you're able to defeat Dat, I think you should give us one crack at Reggie for a rematch. I think one crack at a rematch and such, win or lose, you can still move to 145. Now I know the ideal move is to leave that division with the title, so that way it can be held up vacant. So that way it can be held up for another tournament, because if he leaves, he's not going to leave with the title. That title is going to have to be vacated.
I don't know. He wants to be double champ. He wants to be champ.
Unless, like you said, unless he wants to be double champ. But it depends on how long it's going to take him to get double champ, because if it takes him that much longer, and we're talking, fights are a little bit more active now than they have been during COVID situation, well, right. Then we want that title to be defended.
Right.
We want that title to be defended on a regular basis. I mean, at least once or twice a year.
Right.
At minimum. Twice a year, honestly, at minimum. No champion should be defending once a year. Defending at least twice a year under the bare knuckle banner. But like I said, I do understand with COVID that completely and totally changes parameters and situations on a promotional standpoint. So I totally get that. But I do believe that there should be at least 2 solid title defenses from any bare knuckle world champion or any Police Gazette champion. I don't care what kind of belt that you put on the line. You should be making at least 2 solid title defenses a year. There's no excuse for anything less. Am I right?
I mean, I think in a perfect world, I agree with you. But like you said,
it's far from that right now. It's far from that.
I agree, but like you said, the last year has been crazy. So it's kind of hard to say, well, this is what he should do. Like I get it. I don't know where I stand, man, because I see his point of view in terms of maybe there's more money and more competition, bigger names at 45. And, maybe he's concerned with.
Don't you think he'd get a little bit more money if he got himself a solid rematch and won that convincingly and then moved over to that? I think, honestly, he'd have a little bit more.
I don't know how that works. I
always think that you have a little bit more stroke in those situations if you absolutely solidify yourself as the undisputed champion. Right. I'm just not a fan of somebody to make one defense and leave.
Okay.
That's the only thing. That's the thing, because I know how hard Johnny Bedford has worked to become world champion, to be a world champion. And the fact that now he is a world champion, maybe that jump is a little premature. Even though that I do understand that there may be greener pastures at 145 pounds, but maybe the bigger picture is worth looking at. Like having that everybody jumps from title to title and everything. And some people, make that jump. I'm not a big, normally it's every 6 months, could be extended though, but it will go. Oh, I believe so, Howie. A lot of things are going to go back to the way they were as far as that, once this is passed. And I'm going to tell you something, Josh, as soon as I am able to, Texas is not quite in the phase as of yet, but I am going to do the COVID vaccine. I'm totally going to do the COVID vaccine. I've already had friends of mine and colleagues, well, not colleagues, but friends of mine who are in the healthcare industry, and they have just finished their second round vaccines, and they're fine. and they're fine. Some of them had a little something, and they say that can happen. But for the most part, if you're vaccinated, it makes it a little bit easier for you moving forward, because at least that you have that done. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to expect. I've heard all kinds of rumors. I've heard all kinds of stories. I've heard the horror stories that have happened from a few people and such. And I know people will look at it like, oh, it's only a few people. And then some people will turn around. I'm like, oh, well, imagine if you got yourself a bag of Skittles and there were 3 poison Skittles that would kill you in the bag. Would you still eat the fucking Skittles?
I was thinking about that analogy the other day, because like you could flip that around. Like I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know where I stand. I know as of right now, I'm not getting no fucking vaccine.
Oh, I am.
I'm not doing it.
I am. I'm not afraid of it. 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 I have a smartphone. I have a smartphone that's basically a supercomputer in my pocket. You're telling me that the government, if they didn't want to, couldn't chime into this or aren't already chiming into this? And you don't think that they're not working through Facebook and Instagram and friggin' Twitter? Come on. Nobody's that fucking naive. I mean, you're being tracked all the fucking time.
Of course.
I don't give a fuck if they put any kind of implant in there and everything like that. Just as long as they don't inject me with like that shit that they gave Snake Plissken in Escape from New York, where they give them and it's like a fucking poisonous injection. And if you do something wrong, they go ahead and push a button. You're like, yeah. I don't think we're quite there. I don't think we're quite there as of yet.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Anything could be used for nefarious purposes.
I'm a long ways from that. I mean, maybe if I see more information down the road, but I'm not quite there yet. I mean, no.
And you're going to need more information because we're part of a phase that isn't immediately going to get it.
Yeah, because I crack up like some people. I know a person that they were talking about. I've done my research, and I'm like, well, but like, how much research have you done? Because there isn't that much research on it. So, people that say that, like, oh, well, I've done my research. Like, well, wait a minute. The same amount of research that's available to you is available to me. Like, the
best thing that you can do is talk to a virologist. I'm very fortunate that I have a friend of mine who is a virologist. And specializes in the distribution of the COVID-19 vaccine. And he's been telling me how it's been working. And he has told me from his viewpoint that the vaccine is solid. But he also said that there are going to be reactions, just like any other vaccine. He said most vaccines that are run out, that are their first rounds, usually have some kind of side effects and such, because you also have to remember that these are made from human beings. And the last time I looked, human beings are not perfect. Even though that this is a science can still be incorrect. It can still be wrong. It can still be off and such. It's just that this is a situation. Oh, come on, Howie.
Howie, they're gonna put you in jail again. You can't say shit like that.
Howie, you already have tits, so you're already there. So you have no leg to stand on. I mean, you already have tits right there to produce edge, and men would grow boobs. You've already got them. You've got moobs. You've got moobs, my friend. I'm not saying that you need a bra, but I bet that you've got some back issues because of it. No. He's just saying,
Howie.
Poor Howie, please. Please. No, Howie, you didn't lose them. They're right under your neck. No, I'm just kidding. No, my buddy, like I said, my friend who is a virologist is saying that what's happening as of right now is to be expected. You're going to have your side that is tickled pink to do it because they want their life to get back. And then you have the other side that is going to wait on additional research and additional cases and is going to see how the distribution works from moment one to the moment that they are eligible to get the vaccine.
Right.
And it's going to have to be a personal call. But if you want to but as of right now, like, let's just say, you want to travel, you want to start getting out there, you want to get back to life as you know it. Well, a lot of places that you're going to want to go are probably eventually going to require that you be vaccinated or that you have a COVID test prior to you entering that country. So,
what do you think about as far as like, because I was thinking about this too, right? Is like travel, like mass travel, like, airlines. Are they going to require some kind of something, maybe like because I hear that they're trying to do like you'll be in like a database to show, yes, you got the vaccine.
Airlines, no. Passport control in different countries, yes. Airlines,
well,
no.
I don't mean international. I mean like domestic travel. Like I'm not even talking about international. I'm saying,
no, domestic, no. There's not going to be any kind of requirement in domestic travel. There isn't right now. There isn't right now any kind of requirement on domestic travel.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's what I was worried about because
no. Once you're in the country, and if you're a United States citizen, then no. I mean, obviously, if you're sick, stay the fuck home and such. And
right, yeah, I get that. Yeah.
But and a lot of airlines are doing temperature checks before you board. And if you board and you've got I think the temperature, they said if you have a temperature of 100 degrees, I think if it says 100 degrees,
I think it's like 101.
No, it's 100 degrees or higher.
Okay.
If it's 100.0 degrees or higher, they have the right. They have the right to cancel you and not allow you to board.
Okay.
Out of and they do that, of course, for the main reason that they would, out of safety for the fellow passengers and for themselves. They may get mad, but I mean, even if you don't have COVID, you're still sick and everything like that. They're taking it very slowly. See, this happens so fucking fast. See, that's the fucking sucky thing about this situation. Look how fast this was sprung upon us, and look how long it's going to take to rebound.
Right.
I mean, we're not even at a year yet.
Or plus two, man, is
I guess we kind of are, yeah, because it started spreading out in December and January.
Almost a year. Yeah.
It's been a year, but look how long it's going to take to rebound completely.
A big problem is too, man, is I think like the media has made it like they made it political. You have people on social media that talk about it that don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and they're just saying shit, right? Maybe like their friend told them this, that their friend told them this, that they're, so on and so forth. And it's like there's all this information, across the board, like on either end. So like whether you're, pro-vaccine, whether you're anti-vaccine, whether you're, like across the board, there's so much misinformation. And I don't think the fucking media doesn't do it any favors, because the only thing you get from them is like they only promote like one side of the argument, and they say, God forbid, if you ask any questions, you're immediately labeled anti-vaxxer. So just because, let's just say like let's say I go, you know what, I have a question about this. Oh, that's it, anti-vaxxer, you're fired. Just no questions asked. You can't even ask a fucking question anymore. This whole stigma of asking a question, I think is just like it's stupid across the fucking board, if you ask me. China just locked down 22 million people today.
Oh, that's not that many people in China.
Let's say that's only like a quarter of China, isn't it? That's
not a quarter. A quarter? No way, dude. A quarter. You're talking 1.7, 1.8 billion people. No, not even fucking close, dude. There are 22 million people in Shanghai. That's just like closing down Shanghai or Guangzhou.
Yeah.
That's like one city out of, and you have to remember there are over 50 cities in China that have a population of 1 million or more.
Jesus.
Yeah. We've got less than 10. Well, maybe we have 10, but they've got over 50. So no, 22 million people in the grand scheme of things for China, that's nothing. That's nothing.
But it's just hard to, I think it's hard to get a real grasp as to how bad it is, or how not bad it is. Like it's hard to grasp what the actual fucking bar is for this, because you don't know whether to be freaked the fuck out and people start buying up all the goddamn toilet paper again, or are you going to be the other extreme and you're just like, there is no fucking virus. This is, which it's because you have a lot of people who are on both ends. You have a lot of people who are scared shitless when really you shouldn't be, and then you have people who on the other end that are like just completely nonchalant about it. So,
and that's how you should be. You should be, well, maybe not nonchalant about it, but the last thing that you should do is panic. Panicking.
Yeah. I'm not saying to panic. I'm just saying
it never does.
I'm just saying, like, what's the true measure of how things are? Because I don't think the measure
of things is idiocracy. It's people fucking going out there and buying toilet paper up because they think that there's not going to be about it, even though that most people are. No, even though most people are.
Houston, go solo for a second. I'll be right back. Go solo.
I got to go solo for a second, ladies and gentlemen. And maybe that's a good thing, because sometimes Josh gets a little boring and a little tedious. I said sometimes. At my job, let's see how we're averaging. Well, yeah, you're going to have more and more positive cases come up. That's just, the old saying, it's going to get worse before it gets better. And that's exactly what's happening. But once we finally get distribution of the vaccine worldwide and we start breaking down the phases, because as of right now, the phases of those, that are eligible for the COVID vaccine, those eligible right now for the COVID vaccine are the ones that are the higher risk cases and the first responders and healthcare professionals. Those are the ones as of right now are eligible for that. So once it's available to the general public for those who aren't either first responders, healthcare workers, or higher risks, then it's going to be interesting to see how the vaccine takes worldwide and such. And I think it's going to end up doing more positive than most people are, being real pessimistic about it. They think it's going to be so much more negative than it is. But you don't know that. If you could say that that, I know they're averaging 1 million vaccinations a day. They've already vaccinated over 11 million people. They're approaching. They're just about ready to approach 1/3 of the population.
What do they say? What's their number?
No. I'm sorry. I'm way the fuck off. Not way. No. 1/3 of the population, you're looking at probably about 100 million, 125 million people. So, all right, fine.
I know they say like their goal is like
way off. My math's way off
of the population, which is herd immunity or whatever the fuck phrase that is, to reach 70 or 80% of the population.
Well, like I said, I think it's like phase 3 or phase 4 is when it starts getting distribution around the general public that aren't, like I said, part of that first phase. Then you're going to start seeing how the vaccine reacts. And we're just going to have to wait until then. So, like I said, people are just fucking scared as fuck about this shit, because you have to figure it's the fastest developed vaccine in human history. Right. Never before have we developed a vaccine this quickly to respond to a pandemic. Not like this. It usually takes anywhere 3, 5, sometimes even 10 years. It's really more like 3 to 5 years for a vaccine to go through all of its trials.
5 years, I think, is like the average.
Yeah, and to go through the trials to get FDA approval.
Right.
Oh, this was less than a year. This was less than a year. But the one thing that I do like about it is that it was a worldwide collaboration.
Right.
It was not just the United States that put its hat into the arena trying to get this taken care of. There were so many world countries that got into this, that helped out with this, and that's what I like. I like the fact that the world got involved for the greater good. Sometimes, I even feel that maybe some countries even put petty differences aside just to get this taken care of. Right. Because they're like, okay, this isn't just on my doorstep anymore. It's on yours.
Right.
It's on everybody's. This can literally reach everyone. And now apparently there's another mutant strain that started overseas and that is now making its way here. Well, I mean, that's going to happen with any vaccine. Any vaccine, that's what not vaccines, viruses. That's what viruses do.
Yeah, but is this going to turn into something like, are we going to have to? Is there going to be like a new mutant strain like every year, like the regular flu, where it changes just a little bit year to year? Are we going to have to deal with that now, to where you're going to have to get like a yearly COVID vaccine?
Well, we're going to have to deal with it. Yes. For the time being, I do believe that this is something that we're going to have to deal with until it dies, until it goes away. Are we going to be in a situation to where when we get our vaccine, is it going to be necessary to get an annual COVID vaccine in addition to our annual flu vaccine? Probably so. All right. Back to Knucklemania. People, we're losing people. There's so many other places that you can hear about this shit right now, and we don't need to be talking about it. We need to be talking about the fun stuff. We need to be talking about Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship and what we are planning to do. Because I saw a post from the boss, David Feldman, saying that there is big news.
I saw that.
There is big news coming up. And he said some of the biggest news since the forming of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. So I'm excited to hear about that. And of course, we have got Toe the Line Fight Series coming up on January the 16th this weekend. And that's going to be taking place in Manchester, England.
Yep.
So I hope everybody's going to be watching on the BKTV app. I'm going to be excited to see what the production looks like over there and how, I don't even know what's going to be going on. Are they going to be obviously they'll have a different announcer. I don't know if our buddy Sean Wheelock is going to be doing a studio call from there. I have no idea.
Think it's going to, from what I understand. So there's there was an existing promotion that was already kind of putting a show together.
Which I figured.
And I think what happened was, I guess, Dave and them kind of met up and said, "Hey man, let's fucking collaborate. Let's do this, let's do that." And I think that's what happened. So I think like they had their own team like already kind of in place, but
they should be. Well, they should, even though that Sean has done the Toe the Line Fight Series. Has announced the Toe the Line Fight Series. But this, I believe, is a completely self-contained show over there in England. And of course, nobody from Bare Knuckle is headed over there. Yes. This is just like you said, it's a collaboration, which is what Toe the Line Fight Series is all about.
Correct.
I mean, they collaborate with existing promotions.
Correct.
And I like that. Now, as far as the Bare Knuckle Kingdom, I don't know how I feel about that, even though that I love John Nutt. Dude, he is a fucking character, man. I'm going to tell you. And talk about a hard worker over there in Thailand as a promoter. He's all about making the fight game different. And I fucking love that. I absolutely love that. You know me, Josh. If it's not done differently, I don't want anything to fucking do with it. Not a goddamn thing. So, I got so much. I got a lot of what?
Dude, just to look at you.
I'll tell you something, Scott. Nobody knows what you're talking about that. I mean, seriously, man, that's Wizard of Oz shit. Inka-dinka-doo, just look at you.
What is that from?
Man, I have no idea. I mean, and if you
think skiddly-winky-doo, what is that?
Oh, Ragnarok is
in Norway. Yeah.
But that's not happening until the summer.
Yeah, that's in June.
Yeah, that's in June. That's going to happen in Norway. Now, that would be badass to host a bare knuckle fight in fucking Viking country. Well, now, that would be awesome in that. But obviously, I don't know what's going on with Ragnarok. I mean, I've heard more about it and such. I know that Shannon Rich is going to be on the card.
Yeah, he's in the main event.
Yeah, he's going to be on the card, and that definitely. I think that shitter's full.
That's Christmas Vacation. I know that one.
Inka Dinka Doo, shitter's full. I know that one.
Merry Christmas. Shitter's full.
Did you check out Shitters, honey? Oh, that's good stuff.
But yeah, like I know a lot of stuff. I don't know how. I think. Oh, see, I don't want to say it because I'm not 100%, so I won't. But I think Ragnarok is another promotion we should be really keeping our eye on. I really do. He seems to be like
I don't know shit yet.
Well, I've got some stuff posted on the website on Knucklepedia, so you can check it out, or anybody can check it out if they want. We got some stuff posted. I've been talking with them, and one of the guys that's also associated with the Toe the Line fight this weekend is also associated with Ragnarok. So there's a lot of continuity with that. So I think it's going to be really cool what's going to happen this year. There's a lot of international bare knuckle promotions. I think also that's going to be on BKTV. I think Dave is doing the right thing with bringing all this fucking content to the app. I mean, nobody's paying me to say this, but I mean, like, if the year goes how it should go, I say that with, emphasis, there's going to be a ton of fucking content on that app for $3.99. There's going to be a ton of fucking content for $3.99 a month. A ton of it.
Oh, of course there is. Of course there is. And as you know, and as you have seen, Dave is not above collaborations with others.
Yeah.
And that's a great attitude to have, because not everybody has that.
It's not.
BKF 16 is no, I think that we're working on no, Howie, I think that this one is going pay-per-view.
So I can answer that 100%. So okay. Knucklemania is exclusively on Fight TV and pay-per-view. Also, too, I need to clear this up because I had to clear this up. It's not BKFC 16.
It's Knucklemania.
BKFC 16 will be the show in March. Even though it's the 16th show, I know because I was confused as well.
Oh, so you did get confirmation on that?
I got confirmation.
This will not be. This is Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship presents Knucklemania.
I guess, yeah, because March is BKFC 16. I did also find out too.
Now, here's the thing. I haven't had a chance to talk to Dave and such, but I would assume that Knucklemania is going to be a annual event.
Yeah, it's possible.
I would say that, because if you're making it a special event, then obviously it's something that has to stay, that has to be part of the company.
Let me say this too real quick before we get too far. I just want to say too, BKFC is doing something cool. So even though it's not going to be streamed on the app, if you are a BKTV subscriber, they're going to send you an email and send you a code to get the Knucklemania for half off on Fight TV.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that way, because I think a lot of people were bummed out that it wasn't going to be on the BKTV app. So they did come out and say that. I thought that was pretty cool. So I guess be on the lookout if you want to watch the show. If you're already subscribed, don't pre-buy the pay-per-view just yet. Look for your email, because like I said, they said they're going to send everybody an email.
Okay, if they're going to send out a worldwide email to all of the active subscribers, hang tight.
That's what they said.
Hang tight so that you can. It's kind of like a thank you from our boss.
Yeah.
Because Dave's all about the fans.
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, I think that was a good move. I really do.
I think well, what it does is that. Dave was one of the very first, with the exception of the UFC and maybe a few others. Dave was one of the first to bring combat sports back to live television.
Yeah.
During the pandemic. So I feel that Dave has this incredibly ridiculous passion that I don't get an opportunity to see from every promoter I represent. Now, if you're a promoter in any sense at this level, you have to be passionate. You have to be. That's just the way it is once you reach a certain level. But right. Dave is one of those very rare breeds that I don't come across that often, because he was at the ground floor. This is his baby. It's his invention. He nurtured it. He nursed it. He brought it to where it is today.
Yeah.
And we all know the story. For those of you who know the struggles and the tribulations that he went through, you remember all the 28 athletic commissions that told him no fucking way that this is going to happen. And guess what? Did that discourage him? Hell no. That only made the fire burn even brighter, even hotter. And here we are today. We're approaching our 3rd year. I assume that we're probably going to have some kind of annual show this year that will celebrate and commemorate our 3rd year.
I was gonna say, like, I think the idea of having like a Super Bowl WrestleMania-esque card once a year.
Yeah,
I think that's fucking cool. I mean, I know UFC like they sort of have it with their Fight Week card. I mean, their International Fight Week.
No, but it is. But the idea, the idea, of course, does come from professional wrestling. We all know better. We're not fucking stupid. But just because you decide to roll with it does not mean that there's anything bad going around. I mean, you know, it's an idea that absolutely it makes more sense in bare knuckle than others. We need to have that one big event.
Yeah.
Per year and such. And I believe that this is probably going to be it. And with the rest of 2021, who knows what we're going to bring in? Yeah, we've got 2 female fights. Yep, we've got 2 female fights. And I do believe, this is not the first main event that we've had with a female headliner, is it?
No, Beck and Britain headline.
They headline, right? So this is our second. So this is our second.
Oh, wait. Wait.
No, I believe it is.
Did Cecilia and Beck, did they headline Cancun, or was it Leonard?
No, that was Leonard. No,
okay.
That was Leonard. They were the co-main.
Beck and Britain did headline that card when it was them, right?
I'm not 100% sure. I don't think so.
Let's see. Hold on.
Yeah, well, it says Mr. Knucklepedia. Come on now. You should have this information on tap. But then again, so should I.
I do have it on tap. Hold on.
Now, I do believe that this is the first ever
main event. Beck Rollins defeated Bret Hart, split decision. Yeah, that was the main event.
Which BKFC was that?
Number 2.
That was number 2. Okay, so this is our second female headliner.
That's correct.
Okay. And I'm so happy in the end that Britain got the nod. I know that there were some people that were thinking, oh, you know, Britain's got more experience in bare knuckle and such. But what makes this an interesting fight is because you've got 2 fighters that can talk.
Right.
You know, Paige, well known for her mic skills, and her mic skills at her age are very impressive. I mean, you know, she's in her 20s. And her mic skills are very impressive this far. And of course, you know, her social media presence can't be swept under anybody's rug. That's for damn sure. And but then you've got Britain, who has completely done a 180 since her last time. And I'm not talking about this most recent time to where she picked up a victory. No, I'm talking, and then she called her out. No, I'm talking about before that. I mean, there was always confidence in her, but now I'm seeing potential world champion confidence that I didn't see previously. And I see someone where if she keeps going the direction that she's going, she improves and sharpens her claws. She sharpens her mic skills, her overall social media presence, which she's doing every day. She's doing so much better. But there's one thing that I think that you need to do, Britain, and this is just from a friend. I think you need to take a page out of Christine's social media book. And I think that you need to
what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, man?
And I think sports, my man. It's been a minute.
Hey, that's good stuff, man. But I think you need to post a little bit more of your training. Not all of it, but just a little bit more of your training. You need to let people in on your journey.
Christine's on top of that.
Nobody's. I have never seen anybody that has been more on top of making sure that their training videos are posted on social media than Christine Faria. I fucking love her, man. I swear. There's so many fighters that could take a page out of her book.
Chris Sorrow posts quite a bit. Maybe not as much as Faria, but
well, I don't think anybody does. Think about it. Think about it. In bare knuckle, of all bare knuckle fighters, Josh, all bare knuckle fighters, who posts more training content than fucking Christine? Nobody.
I don't think anybody.
Nobody does. Nobody does. Joey's been much better at Joey Beltran, our heavyweight champion. He's been doing much better at posting more training content.
The other Joey Angelo, he posts a lot too.
Oh, he's really good too. Yeah, Joey's really good too.
Joey Angelo posts a lot too. Lorenzo posts. He does post. He does post a lot too.
We need to. I mean, but you know something? Lorenzo's got such a good talking game, and he's not using it to his full potential. And I know we can. We need to see a little bit more of that Lorenzo.
Yeah, Lorenzo does post a lot too. Yeah,
he does. He does. He posts a lot.
A handful of people that post. I think the point is though. I think like a lot of these guys, they could. I think do themselves a big favor by getting more engaged with social media, and posting more about it, because I get it. I know it's a pain in the ass, and I know it's not something a lot of people think about. Like, God.
But that's the way the world is right now.
Right.
Okay?
It's just the way it is. So like people's perception is the reality. So when they see somebody fucking hitting the bag day after day after day after day, they're going to have that perception of, man, they're fucking busting their ass now.
And that's what you need.
Right. Now, the reality is you could only be training for as long as that video is and then completely stop after that. People won't know the difference. But what I'm saying is, like, I think just getting that out there.
No, give us a taste. You don't have to have a 10-minute. You don't have to have a 10-minute video of you training. Nope. Just give us a little taste and show us what you're doing. You don't have to. You don't have to go into revealing your quote unquote battle plan on social media. Nobody expects you to do that. But give us a little taste about what life is like inside your training camp, because I'll be honest with you, a lot of fight fans want to know that.
Of course.
They really want to know the rigors and the hard work that really goes into these training camps, especially for bare knuckle on top of that. But there is one guy that I'm very excited about because he has created quite a hype around his name. He's been talking all kinds of stuff. Now, whether it's talking trash or talking truth, we're going to have to find out. I'm talking about Brandon Lambert. Finally getting the opportunity. Finally, Mr. Green Hair. Green Hair. And I like the green hair. I like the look. I like his look. He is finally getting the opportunity. Because how many times has he said that he would put up some of his own money? He said that he would put up 10,000 cash of his own money to go ahead and go up there against Tyler Goodjohn. Yep. Now, I'm going to tell you, he has got himself a pretty good test ahead of him. He has got an undefeated bare knuckler, John Kid Gotti Grant. Jared Grant. And Jared Grant has had two impressive fights this far.
He was very fucking impressive in Miami at BKFC 15.
Dude, he looked great. And you have to remember, his first fight with BKFC was his first professional fight ever.
Right.
And he's taken to this like a fish to water. That's gonna create a challenge. But Brandon is on social media every single day saying that I was born for this, I was made for this, posting content. Now, whether or not, like I said, whether he's talking shit or talking the truth, we're gonna have to find out, because honestly, anybody can talk shit. But if this guy's talking the truth and he backs it up and he says that I was born for this, I was made for this, he's got, like I said, he's got an uphill battle for his first fight. He's not coming up against somebody who's debuting in this. He's coming up against a 2-0 up-and-comer. Well, Jared Grant's not a pushover, man.
No, not, and look at it this way too, just to go back to like athletes posting more on social media. Let's look at Brandon Lambert, right? He literally, and this isn't a knock on anything, right? If anything, I'm floored by what he's done, right? He's an example of what you can do. Yeah. Did he talk a lot of shit? Yeah. Was it a lot of, it was just a lot of trying to get people's attention. A lot of it was like inflammatory stuff.
Well, of course it is, but that's what you've got to do sometimes.
It got the attention of David Feldman. It got the attention of people, of fans, people across the board. And guess what? He now has a fight in BKFC, the premier bare knuckle promotion
at Knucklemania. Dave could have saved him for one of the other shows to premiere on BKTV. Right. But he's giving him a prime opportunity on, and even if it's not, let's just say for argument's sake that he is not even on the main show. Let's just say he's on the prelim, but he still gets an opportunity to get looked at the biggest BKFC event to date.
In my opinion, win, lose, or draw, I think he's done something.
Oh, he's done. No. He's a winner. He is a winner. Whether he loses, wins or loses, I think this is a victory. I think that this is a total victory because he talked about it. He posted about it. He kept the post consistent. On top of that, no matter where he was, he may have just been walking around. He even posted training in different countries. In several different countries when he was still talking about it and saying that I am ready for this. I was born for this. Let's get it done. He got it done. He's here.
100%, man. He trains with some big time people like King Mo is his coach.
No, I know he does.
I know. I mean, he's not training with just nobody, No,
I know.
I think he's got a lot going for him. And like I said, I think win, lose, or draw.
What do you think about Lorenzo's fight against Rob Morrow?
It's going to be interesting. So that fight is going to be at 215 pounds.
See, we should just call that heavyweight.
I think I even said that same thing. Like, why is it just heavyweight then, or 205, whatever? But yeah, it's at 215 pounds. It's I guess it's a catch weight. I don't know because I know toe the line.
But we don't say catch weight. We just say a bare knuckle weight of so and so pounds.
Well, I know toe the line had a 215 pound fight, so I don't know if this is going to be a frequent thing or not. Well, here's the problem. Here's the problem, right?
We don't know that yet, Howie. Though the problem is that Rob, he's coming off of his first fight and his first defeat, and he fought himself a hell of a fighter, somebody that Lorenzo is all too familiar with, and Gustavo Trujillo.
Yes, sir.
So he could come back a better fighter. Now that's the rematch that I want to see. I want to see Gustavo and I want to see that fight go either to a knockout or a decision on that one, because I think we were robbed a little bit. It's unfortunate what happened, that got stopped because of an injury. But, it was what it was. And Gustavo's another one that I absolutely believe once the 185-pound tournament gets kicked off, he is going to be one that's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Oh, he's in Bellator now. He's not doing bare knuckle anymore.
Well, no. Right now. I mean, honestly, see, another thing that I don't like about this. People thinking that they're greener pastures. Now, I understand fighters got to fight. I get that. But I also know that if you're building yourself up a persona with a brand new sport and you get an opportunity to be a world champion in that sport, you're probably not going to have an immediate option to be a world champion in Bellator or the UFC. Will you make more money?
I was ready to push him to the moon, right? Gustavo, like they were ready to.
Oh, dude, they were ready to push him, and for good reason. He's an awesome fucking fighter.
I mean, what the Cuban fucking assassin, right? I mean,
yep. And it's just it's such a shame that there are fighters that think that there are greener pastures on the other side.
He looked like $1 million fucking bucks.
He always showed up in shape. Not the biggest talker and such, he's got a language barrier. He definitely speaks more Spanish than anything. I mean, I get that. No problem there.
But he talked in the ring.
No, he did. He did. He's got a little, his broken English is decipherable enough and such, but we need that kind of Ravens competition, because every time that he came, I mean, dude, he fought like he was a fucking gladiator.
Yeah.
He was a scary fucking fighter, and he had really scary. And I would love to see that again, but we don't know if that's going to happen now that he's a representative of Bellator and he's no longer with us and such. So it just depends. Some people are going to want to stick it out here, and I take my hats off to the ones who do decide to stick it here, because you have an opportunity, once again, to be a world champion here. That opportunity may not be extended to you at Bellator, at UFC, at wherever and such. You may make more money. This is true. And I know in the grand scheme of things, that's one of the more important things, especially if you've got a family, if you got kids. It's so much easier to say those things if you don't have children. You see, I've been married for 13 years coming up this year, and I don't have any children. Okay. I am, and I'm fine with that. But as far as the struggle goes, being a parent, I'll never know that. And I know that when you're talking about a family to take care of, I get that. You got to go where the money is first and foremost because they matter most. And I get that. But for those of you who can tough it out, who actually can tough it out and stick with bare knuckle and realize that the pasture is plenty green on this side, I applaud you. I applaud you because this Knucklemania is going to be off the fucking hook. It's going to be fucking crazy, man. It's going to be, we're a good distance away from Tampa. Lakeland is a good distance away from Tampa. Yeah. I think because I know that we're getting into Orlando, and the event itself is at the what is it? The RP. What's it called?
The R.
What are you? The R. What are you, a pirate now?
R.
Is it the RP Publishing Arena?
It's like the RP Center. Yeah, it's something like that, man.
Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah. So that's where that's where Knucklemania is going to be taking place. Of course, people want Faria and Peralta too.
Yeah, RP Funding Center.
RP Funding. Okay, RP Funding Center.
Yeah.
Yes, it would be a true war that would strike fear into Van. I don't know if it would strike fear, but it would definitely open her eyes, saying, whoa, if I have to get to that level, man. But then again, like I said, I don't know. I am not going to put Paige under the bus in any way, shape, or form as to her skill set. We don't know yet. We don't fucking know. So the last thing I'm going to do is put anybody under the bus before they've had an opportunity to compete. And even then, I'm not going to put you under the bus. Anybody who puts any bare knuckler under the bus obviously doesn't know what the fuck they're doing, and obviously isn't somebody who stepped into the squared circle themselves and tried it out. And until that happens, and that takes a special kind of person to step into the squared circle and to be a bare knuckle fighter. Every single one of these motherfuckers, doesn't matter who you are, will always have my respect for stepping in. Now, whether or not you should stay and represent it, or whether or not maybe this is not for you is one thing, but that is yet to be determined. So I'm sick of everybody saying, giving Paige all kinds of crap saying, oh, she's going to mess up her pretty face. She's not meant for this. You don't fucking know that. You don't know, but Howie, you don't know that. You don't, man. You just don't. She could find her stride here. She could be elite, but we've got to give her the benefit of the doubt until it's proved wrong. And even if it's proved wrong, I don't care. Hats off to her for stepping into the ring and giving this a try.
I'm excited either way, man. I'm excited just to have, what? And again, yeah, a lot of people are saying that about Van Zandt. I tell you what, I'm excited for, and I think a lot of these fighters who I've seen talk shit on Paige, here's the thing. And the fans too. Here's the thing.
Well, of course they're talking shit. They'd love to get paid what she's getting paid for her appearances. That's just green with envy right there.
where I'm coming from with this is say, if you're a fan of the sport, if you're a fighter in the sport, Paige coming over it's going to be more eyeballs on everybody. Yeah, the attention is on Paige, but there's going to be eyeballs that's going to stick. You're going to have people that's going to tune in just for Paige. And guess what? There's going to be a percentage of those viewers. They're going to stick around. They're going to see this product and they're going to be like, holy fuck. Maybe they're crossing over from MMA or whatever. They're going to cross over.
Paige is helping sports so much.
Right.
What she's doing.
And maybe she's going to be a catalyst for a lot of people to possibly cross over. So I get that there's some jealousy. I understand that. I understand.
Well, there's jealousy, and there's also people who may have seen her fight in the UFC and realized that, was she a force? No, she was a great competitor. Right. She was a great competitor, and she was a former title contender at one point. Yes, she was.
Same thing with I saw people when they were talking about Frank Mir, which like I said, when I talked to Frank Mir, he said he's 3-fight contract, right?
No. Frank is a good friend of mine.
So,
Frank
right.
is I love the Mir family so
like
much,
people talking about Frank, but I'm like, Paige, Frank Mir, like all these people crossing over. Man, like if you're a fan of the sport, you want these fucking guys here because they're going to bring more eyeballs to the sport, and you're going to see more money filtered down. They're going to be able to pay, the undercard better because they're getting more.
I said, it only helps. It only helps the sport. Everybody keeps thinking that it's like a freak show, like a circus show, like somebody who's trying to hang on to some kind of past glory and such by crossing over. I'm like, no, what it does is it helps the sport. Look what Paulie Malignaggi did for us. Was it the most exciting fight? Absolutely not. But he did a lot for the sport. He brought people over to check out with him, and those people are now fans.
Yep.
So honestly, it can only benefit the sport. That's the way that combat sports, that's the direction it's going now. Apparently, we are in the era of the celebrity fighter. Yeah. That's the era that we're in as of right now. You don't even have to be a completely 100% trained fighter to get a prize fight these days. That's just the way that it is. I mean, now obviously Dave is wanting accomplished fighters, or at least people who have like real solid amateur background and maybe making their debut on the lower card of a BKFC card is fine. That's fine. But right. He is wanting accomplished fighters that bring a name cachet. Of course you want that name cachet to come over with. Why wouldn't you want Frank Mir to come over and give bare knuckle fighting a try? Win, lose, or draw, he's still a winner, and he is still helping develop the sport with his name. And I love that.
Yeah. 100. Well, I hate, I hate saying it, but yeah, I agree with all the points you just said thus far. I don't agree
all of them.
All your points for those. Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. I think it's just, it's important.
Maybe I should change my way of thinking, so that way we can at least be at 70% or 60%. I don't want you agreeing with 100% of what I'm saying, because then we get too close, Josh, and I don't want that.
You don't want to get close.
Nice voice, nice. Look at you trying with those bedroom eyes and that bedroom voice. You don't want to get close.
How close do you want to be, Joe?
Well, grab yourself a pad and pencil, because the Love Doctor is about to speak.
Conor would do it for 100 million. Man, let me tell you what. If Conor came over and fought somebody bare knuckle, which,
oh God, the entire goddamn world, man.
Let me tell you what.
Jesus.
I thought it was crazy because I remember Dave saying this like 2 years ago. He's like, I'm gonna get Conor McGregor in BKFC. He said this like 2 years ago, and I'm like, yeah, okay, Conor McGregor, yeah, right. Like, I mean, let's be real. Conor's going to want to charge like 9 fucking figures to fight. Let's just be real, and I said a lot about this, but you know what? I'm starting to believe it. I'm starting to think eventually it might take.
It would be worth it. It would be worth it in the end. If you're looking at it from a promotional, if you're looking at it for dollars and cents, it makes sense.
Yeah. Like,
that's right. It was a Police Academy reference. Very good, Kyle. Very good, Kyle.
We always throw little Easter eggs. Pew. We send the pew, and then we reel it on it.
Yep. It's like our Easter egg spitball.
Sometimes
the exposure would be incredible. I mean, it would absolutely do wonders for the sport, and it would get so many eyeballs on it, and we'd probably break records when it comes to viewership on bringing someone over like Conor McGregor. But Conor still has a little bit left in the UFC. I don't know how much more he has, and then once that journey and that door is closed, he could decide to come over. And he's even said several times on social media, would I fight bare knuckle? Hell yeah, I would. He said, sure, I would. Why not?
Yeah. I don't think it's as far-fetched now. I did it first. I agree. No, I admit, at first I thought it was far-fetched, but I don't think so now, man. I think.
But look what's happening to the combat sports world now, Josh. It's very, very interesting, the metamorphosis that is happening when you're talking about fighters now. When you're talking about either fighters that are on the main circuit or if you're talking about fighters from yesteryear that are looking to make another run into the fight game, now on everybody's lips, people are saying, well, what would happen if he or she fought bare knuckle?
Right.
That used to not be a thing at all. Nobody ever made reference, oh, that would be so cool if he fought bare knuckle. Now it's becoming commonplace.
When they released Romero, what was one of the first things people were saying? I wonder if he's going to bare knuckle.
And he was, and it looked like he was headed that direction until Bellator got him.
You know, guaranteed. There's a handful of guys like if they ever release Cerrone, I get the first place people are going to think of is bare knuckle. I know it's what I think of. If they release Cerrone, if you release anybody on a major circuit, whether it be Bellator, whether it be UFC, doesn't matter where it is. It just, yes, I agree. Proper 12. You know, I'm going to tell you something. I'm a fan of Conor, of how he sells himself, but I'm a whiskey connoisseur, and I can honestly tell you. Uh-oh.
I mean, it's just not my taste. It tastes like melted plastic to me.
His internet's like melted plastic right now.
My internet's just fine. What are you laughing at? I'm just trying to get it done. I'm just not a fan of it. But then again, when you put Conor's face to any product, you're going to make any kind of money. I mean, the guy, he could sell anything. Seriously, he could do the Michael Jordan shtick, and he could sell Rayovac batteries, and he'd make Rayovac batteries $1 billion.
Matt Brown, Mike Perry, yeah. I think Mike Perry is a very good candidate because especially with all the shit going on.
Oh, dude, Mike Perry, he'd fit like, I mean, you know, I'd say a glove fit, but we don't want to say glove fit in bare knuckle fighting. No, he'd be a perfect fit.
I mean, Matt Brown, would you? But I mean, like, what? Matt Brown is, what was he, like 39, 38?
Mike's got a temper issue. Mike has got a severe temper issue, and I think temper issues are best played in the squared circle with bare knuckle.
Yeah, I'm talking about like Matt Brown though.
No, I know you are.
Matt Brown, what, like 39?
You know, like bare knuckle a try. We still have fight.
I mean, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see my Matt Brown. I think
I think he'd be a good fit. I think
Carlos Condit, like that whole era. Diego Sanchez, Carlos Condit, Matt Brown, like those guys, even if it's for like one fight deals, just to see them cross over and do something.
You know, I mean, no. Hey, give it a try.
Natural Killer in BKFC.
Yep.
That would be.
You have honestly, you have no idea until you try. And honestly, those kind of names, all they can do is add value to bare knuckle fighting championship, because that, like I said, now people are saying, is he going to go to bare knuckle? Is he going to try bare knuckle? If a journey ends here, it doesn't mean that it's not going to begin. Right. And I also hate when people start saying, you know, resurrecting careers, or somebody couldn't hack it in here and they're coming over to here. That has nothing to do with it. Just because somebody is choosing to fight for a bare knuckle fighting championship does not mean that they were a failure where they fought before. There are so many factors that can go into a fighter either being terminated or deciding to leave another sports organization or another sports promotion, whether it be Bellator, whether it be UFC, or whether he's a professional boxer. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it's not someone who's clinging on to the last rung of the ladder of life that's coming over to bare knuckle. It doesn't work that way. We have got world-class athletes. We have got fighters that are getting the fighting itch back. We've had fighters, you know, that they weren't happy with themselves where they were fighting with previously, where they were absolutely thinking, you know something, the joy isn't there for me anymore. I'm going to retire. I'm going to figure out what else to do with my life and just call it quits right here. Then they get an opportunity to fight with bare knuckle fighting championship, and that fire is absolutely relit.
It comes back.
And they're like, wow. They're like, I had no idea. I have still got something in this, and boy, is this fun.
I mean, Thiago Alves was the most recent example of that.
Dude, he loved it. He loved it.
He was kind of in a rut in UFC, and you could tell. You could see it in his performance and his training.
And look what an awesome fight he gave us for his first fight.
Yeah, with that fight with Julian Lane, man,
that was an awesome fight. I'm sorry, that was an awesome fucking fight.
It was a great display of just fucking heart, man. Like from both of them, and it was just an amazing fight.
Well, it was great. It was great back and forth.
Oh yeah,
it was great back and forth. And what more can you ask for somebody for their debut performance? I mean, that's impressive. That was one hell of a fight for a
Vanderlei versus Vitor. Yeah, that would be interesting.
It would be. It would be. It would be.
Vanderlei wanted to do it, man, because I'd like to see what's going on with him because I know Vanderlei. Fuck, when was the last time we talked to him when he was there in town for the big?
Well, he was for the BKFC 8 when he was at BKFC 8
in town. We talked to him and he's like, yeah, I want to do it. He's like, I want to do bare knuckle. He's like, fuck. I used to do bare knuckle back in the day. He's like, I've already done this shit.
Wally Tudo.
Yeah, Vale Tudo. He's like, I've done bare knuckle. This isn't new to me, and so he wants to do it. I know Hector wanted to fight.
That'd be a good fight.
That'd
be. I don't know if Vitor Belfort. Mark Hunt. Mark Hunt would definitely be. I'm gonna tell you something. Anybody Samoan, bring them on over, man. I'm gonna tell you. That's the one representative that I want to see. I want to see more Samoans kind of come over because I'm sorry, those guys and gals, they're born and bred to fight.
Yeah,
that's just kind of the way that it is, and we're going to start seeing more and more. Eventually, we're going to get the Russian fighters that are going to come over.
Yep,
and the Russian fighters are the ones that, in my opinion, are kind of taking over the world as of right now. You're seeing more and more of their footprint over every avenue of combat sports, all over the fucking place. So that's another cause to get excited. Just the possibilities behind the potential growth of BKFC are absolutely ridiculous. And it's also exciting to see BKFC go back to its roots and go back to pay-per-view for this one.
I wish I'm not mad at them. I wish they were a little bit clearer, I think, just from the get-go. Because like I said, a lot of people, even some of the fighters, they didn't really know because they were sharing their BKTV subscription. They're like, hey, watch me.
A lot of this is going to be done. Yeah, but a lot of this is going to be done off the cuff, though. A lot of it's going to be done off the cuff because you have to realize, like I said, the world is not spinning as it normally is, and resources are limited. So I think that a lot of decisions are going to have to be a lot of last minute decisions, and not everybody's a big fan of last minute decisions when it comes to that. Everybody's like, this is the way it is, and this is the way that it's going to be. But then again, how long have promoters put on the posters, cards subject to change? And that's in any way. And that's not just the card itself. That's the presentation.
But that's, yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm not giving them, that's different though from thinking it's going to be on an app you subscribe to versus not being, that's a little different than that.
No.
But
However, those subscribers still get the opportunity to get savings because this was done. Because this was done with less than 1 month's notice.
Yeah, I and that was a good move on their part.
Well, it was the right thing to do. It was the right thing to do, and because of that, we're going to keep subscribers, not lose them.
Yeah, I don't think it's like a big.
It's not big enough to make you turn your back on the product and say, I'm not going to subscribe anymore.
Because I mean,
in fact, it actually should show that even though that there was a last minute change, BKFC still cares about the fans. Because
he
didn't have to do that. He did not have to do that.
We got 2 shows before then that's going to be on the app. Like you said, we got Toe the Line 3. We've got
we're still not sure about the Kingdom as of yet. I don't believe that we have a date solidified yet, do we?
Last I heard, they were trying to move it to the end of January, but it wasn't set in stone. I think it was something to do.
Yeah. Well, I know what it is. It's the COVID restrictions in Thailand.
Yeah.
It's the COVID restrictions in Thailand, and I totally get that. So I don't even know. I haven't heard anything, and I tried to follow John's social media a little bit, and I haven't heard anything about a solid date as of yet for Bare Knuckle Kingdom.
Yeah.
So I think they're just going to have to play that one by ear as the circumstances change. I guess it's a little bit easier for them to do it. It's a little easier for them to do it in the UK because everything's on fucking lockdown.
Right.
So obviously everybody who's there is going to fight and such, so they don't have to outsource fighters, and they don't have to fly in fighters from other countries as of right now. Right. Everybody who's there is there and is ready to fight. I mean, we're only we're 2 days away. We're now a day and a half away from Total Line, and this is Total Line 3, correct?
Yep, and I believe too, because I got some news last night, something about I need to confirm this. Let me even see if I can mention it. I think the original main event, something happened with that, but I don't know if it's fully confirmed yet.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I don't know if
Josh does all the work, ladies and gentlemen, for Loudmouth Fisticuffs. I'm just the Loudmouth. I'm just the Loudmouth. I lend my name. I lend my incredible celebrity to
Here we go. Apparently, a fighter had to pull out. One of the fighters in the main event had to get emergency dental surgery or something. So, which, if that's the case, and it can't wait till after the card, that's going to take that fighter out of the main event. So,
well, obviously,
I think that's going to be. It looks like there's going to be a change to the main event of Total Line 3, but like I said, I don't have any more information than that.
They'll probably be able to scramble.
I'm sure they will.
They'll probably be able to scramble and get that taken care of.
There's a lot of guys ready to get on that card, man.
Do you know the name of the promotion at the helm for this one?
I sure did. It's World Bare Fist Boxing.
World Bare Fist Boxing. Okay. So they will be hosting that event. And do you have a venue and a location? I know it's in Manchester. Let's see. I'm interested to see about that. World Bare Fist Fighting. Is that what World Bare Fist Fighting?
World Bare Fist Boxing.
Bare Fist Boxing. Okay.
And then there's also Bare Fist Boxing Association too.
Oh, I got you. I got it. Okay. Here we go. Bare Fist Boxing Association. Okay, here we go. Total Line Fight Series 3, UK, across the pond. Fun stuff. Looks like they've got some stuff going on where they're going. Looks like they're also doing bouts, bare knuckle boxing, Lathway, and Welly Tudo bouts.
Yep.
Along with boxing, Thai boxing, and MMA.
And they're going to be the first to do, because nobody has done it yet on this level, is they're going to do amateur bare knuckle boxing, which it's a weird territory because there hasn't really been amateur bare knuckle boxing. So apparently they actually got some.
No, there isn't. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works.
Well,
I don't know if I'm the biggest fan of that.
Well, there was I need to read off. I need to update this because there's a lot of info that I've been told through messages and stuff. But I don't know how official official it is. So, but I know that they were working to get this stuff passed and actually work to develop some type of guidelines, because I think when they said they wanted to do it, their commissions over there were like, well, what the fuck does that mean? What is an amateur bare knuckle?
I don't agree. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. I think honestly, it should, if you're going to set up a bare knuckle situation, I always feel that the way that we have it, the formula that we do it now that we have a feeder league, I love that idea. I love the idea that you get the opportunity at the Toe the Line Fight Series to get an opportunity after your fight to hopefully represent on the top level of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Honestly, if you're taking the gloves off, there's no reason that you shouldn't be paid. If you're taking the gloves off and taking that chance, I mean, this is, like I said, different sport than boxing, than MMA, than kickboxing. I mean, this is bare knuckle fighting. If you're going to take the chance on bare knuckle fighting, you should be paid. I do not believe that an amateur bare knuckle league is necessary.
Yeah,
because is it a risk? Of course, it's a risk. Is it any more dangerous than any? No, it's not. In fact, actually, but the fact that it is bare knuckle fighting, I still say that you should always be paid, whether or not that it's a feeder league or it's BKFC or Ragnarok or BKB. I don't care. You should be paid.
No, I agree. I need to look and see exactly what type of changes it is compared to a pro.
And I know the main reason that you're doing it. It's to save money, of course, so that you don't have to pay fighters. That's one of the main reasons it is. A lot of people also build up certain fighters to make their professional debut.
Right.
But like I said, make it a feeder league, because there are no amateur bare knuckle leagues out there as of right now. And I don't think that there's any need for amateur bare knuckle leagues as of right now. Make it the feeder. Follow the Toe the Line Fight Series. It's the best way that you can end up getting on the main card if you're not already booked on the main card. I wasn't too, I'm going to be honest with you, Josh. The first time that I saw Toe the Line, I wasn't 100% convinced, but then I had a real long sit down and talk with Nate Shook, and Nate really brought some things to light that I wasn't thinking about when I was taking Toe the Line Fight Series, into account. Right. And after talking, and Nate is just such a great guy. He is such a good matchmaker. He's one of the best matchmakers I've ever worked with. He's absolutely all about the fighters. Absolutely 100% about the fighters. There's no BS with him. And I appreciate that. So after I had to sit down and talk with them, I'm like, man, this is perfect. This is exactly where it needs to be, because sometimes when you take a chance on some fighters, you don't know what they're going to bring to the BKFC brand. And honestly, Dave wants you to bring everything that you got. He wants you at your best. So if he's not 100% sure, you get this opportunity, and you get the opportunity on the BKTV app. It's not exactly like that this is a non-televised, house show.
Right.
No, you still get the opportunity on the BKTV app. And if you kick ass, guess what? You probably will get the opportunity to fight with BKFC on the main cards and get on main cards like Knucklemania. I think honestly, as far as the bare knuckle model as of right now, it's way too soon to even think about an amateur.
Yeah. I mean, again, too, like you said, the sport is still in its infancy. It's a work in progress.
People are trying to walk when they should be fucking crawling.
Yeah.
Honestly, on the promotional sense, people are trying. They're thinking too far ahead and not letting. What is it?
Do you know what I think it is? I think it's people seeing the success Dave is making, and they want to be involved, and it's like and it's the same thing I see with across the board with
yeah, but Dave has the experience. That's the only difference.
He has the experience, but think about this, man. Especially since I've said this a dozen times, especially since the Paulie Artem fight, right? Mm-hmm. We've seen media pop up out of nowhere that was never covering bare knuckle before, and all of a sudden they're covering it, right?
And they're loving it too, and they're enjoying it too,
and they're loving it, and we've seen people try to jump on board, and they see how good it's doing, and they want to be involved, and they want to be like, man, this thing is really fucking exploding. I want to get in on this, And I get it.
But they're going too fucking fast about it.
And they're trying to go too fast. I agree. I think people are they're so excited to get involved that they
there's a reason. But there is a reason why Dave is a success at this, is because Dave has a background in this. Right. Dave has a background in bare knuckle. Dave was promoting bare knuckle fights on Native American casinos and tribal casinos. At tribal casinos, he was putting forth bare knuckle. I mean, he has a fighting background on top of that, but he knows bare knuckle. He says, in fact, he said this on a recent show that he was on when they were doing a bare knuckle live podcast. He was saying there are very few people in the world that know bare knuckle to my extent. And I absolutely 100% agree with him on that. I absolutely agree with him on that. And that is why it's a success. That's the main reason why the WWE is a success, is because nobody knows wrestling in the grand scheme of things better than the McMahons. They've got the experience. Vince himself is he a second or a third? No, he's a third generation. Is he a third generation promoter or a second generation promoter?
He's second. I don't think his grandpa was.
He's second. Now, Stephanie and Shane, they're the first ever third generation performers. But wrestling has been in their blood. And that is why WWE is still at the top. Because it's still in their blood. Whether or not they're out of touch with today's, product or not, that's irrelevant. People are still tuning in. People are still, checking it out because they know wrestling. Just like Dave knows bare knuckle boxing because, it's in his blood. And if it's in your blood, guess what? You're going to be able to turn out a better product than the competition. Because you've got that experience, because you've got that passion. You've got that kind of passion that other, that other promoters have got to fake it until they make it. You know what I mean? So that's why BKFC stands above the rest. Now, we welcome good competition, but it's just like what Dave says. I welcome competition just as long as it's done right.
Right.
And there's going to be so many people who don't do it right. There's going to be so many people who fuck it up and don't do it for the sport. They do it because they think it's hot and it's a easy way to make a quick buck.
And you're going to see that more and more. The bigger it gets, the bigger names. Especially after the Page fight, I would imagine you're going to even see even more after this. You're going to keep seeing more media sites, more, like I said, more bare knuckle coverage, which is great for the sport. So, great for the sport. I'm glad they're getting the promotion, and we'll see, who's really interested in the long haul and, loves the sport versus trying to make a quick buck. And I think you're going to see the separation.
Well, you're going to see the fakes wash out is what you're going to do. You're going to see the fakes wash out, and you're going to see the ones that are about the sport and about, continuing the sport. Growing the sport. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who don't believe that this is a sport, and those of you who think that this is a joke, you are absolutely wrong. This is now a bona fide sport. This is a sport. This is a combat sport. This is now, it will be go down through the annals of history, of sports history, as a legitimate combat sport. Yeah. It is now a legitimate combat sport, and it's eventually going to get complete and total mainstream attention. We're headed in that direction right now. Do we have it to the extent of the others? Of course not, because we don't have the experience and we don't have the years. Obviously you have that up on us, duh. But you know what? But it's coming. That's the thing. We are coming. We're going to get it. We're going to get the big TV deals. We're going to get the big names. The product is going to be a household name at one point. It's going to happen. The writing, I'm sorry, but Josh, you know it like I do. The writing's on the wall.
Of course.
The writing is on the wall.
Of course. That's like I said, that's why man, like we've been following it since the beginning. I saw it on the wall too, man. I saw it on the wall 3 years ago. When they were talking about this, I knew that this was going to be, just the next big thing. And here we are,
when that show started, when BKFC 1 first started, June 2nd, 2018.
Yes.
I had no fucking clue what to expect until we were rolling live. Up until then, weird fucking stuff. Fucking SWAT team at weigh-in with fucking K9 units. Cheyenne, Wyoming, of all fucking places. The Cheyenne Ice House, which had a putt-putt golf course in the front.
What?
Yeah, it did. It had if you are walking in for those who were standing in line off to the right, there was a little putt-putt golf course right in the front.
Oh, wow.
So I had no idea what to expect until the cameras were rolling, and then we got started. And when we got started with our first fight, after that first fight started off, I was like, fuck me. This is gonna take off. I said, this is gonna fucking take off. And I've said it so many times in so many different interviews. You remember at one point that the Beltran-Lopez fight wasn't even supposed to be on TV.
Right.
That was a swing bout.
Right.
But the way that we were moving so goddamn fast that it ended up becoming the co-main. And thank God it did, because that was the fight. If anybody asked me, what one fight do you believe really drove the product home to the hearts of the new fans? Oh, Beltran and Lopez, 100%. 100%. The people who were able to see that live there in Cheyenne, Wyoming, you guys were given a treat that you couldn't have even imagined. You couldn't even imagine that a fight that good would have happened on that card, and it did. It was incredible. And also hats off, of course, to Sam Shoemaker for giving us that 18-second knockout over Eric Prindle.
Yep.
And now, fast forwarding almost 3 years later, seeing Sam Shoemaker as a completely different bare knuckle fighter than he was when he stepped into the ring for the first time. Seeing him as exactly as I wanted to see him, putting the foot on the gas and getting in your face, and that's what he did. Yeah. And now that he has this new lease on life in the squared circle, I cannot wait. I do think that he is going to be up for a title shot anytime soon.
I think it's already happened in March.
I'd say I'm supremely confident that it will. And that's going to be interesting because, can Sam Shoemaker step on the gas and reverse the roles and smother the champ, Joey Beltran? Can that happen? Because the thing about it is, Joey can be knocked out. He can be. You just got to get past the fact that Joey is going to put every ounce of himself on your ass. He is going to absolutely come at you with every punch that he has available in his arsenal. And that's the hard part to get past. It's hard to fight your way through that smothering. Yeah. It's damn hard. But I'm so excited. Like I said, the future is just so bright. Like, future's so bright, I got to wear shades for Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. All right, man. I think that we're probably reaching the beginning of the end for episode number 38.
Absolutely.
We definitely appreciate you guys checking us out. Thank you to everybody who chimed in with your comments. We certainly appreciate any comment that you have to give us, whether positive or negative. As far as we're concerned, don't mind being polarizing, because then you're at least fucking paying attention to us. And remember to like those videos. The more likes that we get, the more eyeballs they get on us. Guess what? The more that we get the opportunity to really, really get that content out to you. And that's what we want to do. We want to get that content out to you. Today, we had so much to talk about. No, I don't need you doing a Hulk Hogan shirt tear. We want to keep people on our live stream, not lose them, sir.
Well, this is like a $80 sweater, so no, I don't want to do that to this.
No, that would not be economically viable for you, good sir.
But no, you're absolutely right, man. Just like, share, subscribe, just like you said. We appreciate everything. Episode 38. Guys, that is Mr. Live Worldwide, Jeff Houston. I'm Joshua Furs. Thank you for tuning in. We love you, baby.
And we'll see you at episode 39.